Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 10 and compare it against the iPhone 8 Plus and see which specific phone you should go ahead and buy in 2023. Now, I'm going to be honest, if you have the opportunity of going up to something like an iPhone 11 or even an iPhone 10R, those might be better phones than these ones, but I still think both these phones have a lot of value, and even though they're kind of on the last leg of support, if you want to pick them up, go for it. Now, links will be down in the description if you want to pick up some phones I would recommend this year. So you can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off side by side, you can definitely tell there are some pretty big differences here. The iPhone 8 Plus came out in 2017, same exact time the iPhone 10 came out, but they got released at different times. The iPhone 8 Plus on the front has a 5.5-inch IPS panel, and at that moment, it definitely wasn't that bad of a screen. I think a lot of people at this moment still wanted a better display than this thing, but I still look at a phone like the iPhone 8 Plus and I still think it looks pretty okay. Like, it definitely doesn't look like the ugliest phone of all time, but you can tell it definitely looks like a dated device. It definitely doesn't look new anymore. So that's probably a massive thing to keep in mind. If you're wanting a phone that looks a little bit newer, well, that's why you have something like an iPhone 10. You're removing that home button and the bezels on the top and bottom. You are getting that notch, but this phone on the iPhone 10 does look substantially better than something like the iPhone 8 Plus. In fact, a phone like the iPhone 10 actually still looks almost the same as the latest iPhone. I mean, both these phones came out in 2017. This phone still looks like the latest iPhone. The iPhone Plus clearly does not. With this one, you are getting that 5.8-inch Retina display, and it's an OLED display too, which is really nice. And this was the first iPhone to have some sort of OLED display on it, and it looks very good. The viewing angles are still pretty good. The screen looks very vivid, and it's still a very smooth phone for the most part. It also brought gestures to it, which is so beautiful. So this definitely gets a thumbs up for me for sure. Now, on the sides of both these phones, we are getting a little bit of a different styling. So they're both like, the curved side, but we were getting this like aluminum kind of thing where like reflective material on the iPhone 10, which looks great. The iPhone 8 Plus still looks pretty good too. We have lightning ports at the bottom, and on the back we had glass backs, but this was the first time we saw Apple kind of, move their camera setup from the top and bottom, or from the side to side to the top and bottom. And I think the iPhone 10 definitely looked really, really good here. I think Apple did a great job with that type of back. Although they both are, glass backs, there's not too many differences here. I do like how the iPhone 10 is just substantially smaller phone than the iPhone 8 Plus, but it's not a crazy big difference in the screen. Like, the screen is definitely, I think, smaller, but it's bigger. It's kind of hard to explain. But I definitely do like how Apple did, the iPhone 10 for the most part. They both have wireless charging, they both have IP certification, so there's definitely a lot of overlap, but it's so funny when you take a look at both these phones and you start thinking to yourself like, wow, the iPhone 10 came out these many years ago and it looks so much better than the iPhone 8 Plus. It's not even funny. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the software support and the longevity, because both these phones have the exact same chipset inside, they're both going to probably be lasting the exact same amount of time. So it's not like because the iPhone 8 Plus is the newer phone or it's older, it's going to last less or more. Like, they're going to be lasting the exact same time because they have the exact same chipset inside. So something like the iPhone 10, this type of device, if there was a phone that's going to last longer or break the rules, it'd probably be this one. But I doubt it. Apple's been changing so many things recently. So I think this phone is probably going to end off, the same exact time as the iPhone 8 Plus because they pretty much are the exact same phone internally. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there as well. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 10 has that Apple 11 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 8 Plus also has that Apple 11 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, so let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think the iPhone 8 Plus was faster there. Hopping out of here, let's do music 3, 2, 1. iPhone 10 is faster there. The iPhone 8 Plus a little bit slower. Hopping out of here, let's go into their cameras 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go and take a photo. 8 Plus was faster. Let's go and open up that photo 3, 2, 1. About the same thing. Let's go and hop out of here. Let's do mail 3. Let's just skip that. Let's do podcast 3, 2, 1. Okay, 8 Plus I think was slightly faster. Let's do settings 3, 2, 1. Okay, 2 different panels. Possibly the iPhone 8 Plus would have been a little bit faster. Let's go and hop out of this one. Let's go and do something like their app stores 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 10 was faster there. The iPhone 8 Plus slightly slower, not like a big deal, but that was a little bit of a difference right there. And so far, they both are scrolling through pretty well. I mean, they both have 60 Hz panels, but even here, I can kind of tell that the iPhone 8 Plus does kind of look like to me it has the better display overall. We do have some of these other applications I have, which are like scattered all over the place. We can try something like Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now this game may have some pop-ups or something that'll come up, so I may have to close out of both of them. I'm hoping they don't. Okay, so this one did, so I'll just click here. Okay, it's so annoying. So we'll give this like another second or two leeway. And I think even with that little difference, the iPhone 10 would have still been faster. But the iPhone 8 Plus was literally right behind it, and it had those pop-ups, so we do have to kind of give it a little bit of slack there. Let's go and click play, and let's see if there's a big difference here. I don't really think there's... So they both kind of glitched up there, to be honest. Maybe the 8 Plus glitched up a little bit more. Let's go and hop out of here. Snake versus blocks. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 Plus actually a little bit faster there. So I'm going to go to the game. And they both glitched up a lot. I don't even know if one glitched up more. They both were just glitching up all over the place. Quizlet 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 Plus was faster there. Let's try Thank You 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 Plus was faster. The iPhone 10 slower. So I don't know if one is definitely like defiantly faster than the other one every time. I think both of them were actually pretty good. You know, for their comparing one another, but they're both very, very slow to be. But they're both like kind of slower compared to the latest generation, more glitches. So I don't know if one is faster than the other one, to be honest. But moving on to the camera side of things, you can see, like I mentioned, they both have exactly almost identically the same exact camera. It's just one is kind of landscape and one of them is like portrait. So they both can do 4K on the back, which is great, 1080p on the front. They both have wide and telephoto lenses. So again, there's really not too much to compare here. With the iPhone 8 Plus camera, I've always felt like one thing that kind of stood out to me is that because the iPhone 8 Plus kind of has a little bit like of a different display, the viewfinder of the camera, like this like screen when you're looking at it, the videos and photos may not look as good as the iPhone 10, even though when you take them and put them in your computer, they'll be the exact same thing. And I do wonder sometimes if like the way the cameras are portrayed, like this, like top down here, versus the actual like side to side right here, with the flash on the side next to here, I wonder if that ever caused any issues. I think there were some complaints about it, early on when these phones came out. But since then, they probably perfected it. And with a phone like the iPhone 8 Plus, the camera, I mean, you still have photo mode, video mode, slow mode. You still have portrait mode, square mode, and panorama mode. So you still have a lot of things. And you have 10x zoom, which is actually pretty good on inside of this type of camera. So I think that in and of itself is pretty cool. But even with the iPhone 10, like I said, it's pretty much almost like exactly the same type of camera. So within this thing, you're still getting like photo mode, video mode, slow mode. All the way at the end, you're getting portrait mode and square and same exact modes before. The only other thing I can think of is possibly, like I said, the way the cameras are portrayed. Maybe that's a little bit of a difference. But even then, it's not a big deal. With this type of camera, it definitely gets a thumbs up for me. And it's a very, very solid camera on both these for how old these phones are. But I think that kind of covers things up. And to be honest, like I mentioned, I mean, I'd look at a phone like the iPhone 10, and this is definitely, a better phone than the iPhone 8 Plus in every single area, but it was a more expensive phone when it first came out. So it totally makes sense why that is the case. I think with a phone like the iPhone 10, it's worth buying only if you're willing to I don't know, like if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, go for it. But even then, I would just recommend going up to something like an iPhone, 10s, iPhone 11. If you can get an iPhone 11 Pro, that is a very good phone. I think the iPhone 8 Plus is a pretty decent device too. Like it still sits in a very good spot. But if you're trying to go and save some money, I think going up and getting like an iPhone 8, you could probably do it. But even then, I would just recommend going up to an iPhone 11 and spending a little bit more money. So that pretty much covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.